In 1973, the CIA ran a secret program to enhance human learning speed. And what they found was so effective, they buried it for decades. What if you've been learning in hard mode your entire life? And what if the key to upgrading your brain was hidden in a classified file? During the Cold War, paranoia was currency, and the CIA was rich in it. While most people have heard of Project MKUltra, a bizarre cocktail of LSD experiments and questionable ethics, the real long-term obsession of the agency went far beyond mind control. It was not just about manipulating people, but about optimizing them. Somewhere buried between the spy gadgets and lie detector tests, the CIA quietly began investing in techniques to supercharge learning and cognitive performance in their operatives. Forget hypnosis and truth serum. Those were distractions. What the CIA really focused on was how to train people to absorb complex information quickly, remember it under pressure, and perform like machines in unpredictable scenarios. Techniques like cognitive load management were introduced to avoid overwhelming the brain with too much input at once. They taught agents how to break information into digestible chunks, known as memory chunking, so that recall became instinctual. And perhaps most cleverly, they manipulated environmental control, training people in very specific surroundings and then replicating those during missions to enhance memory retrieval. So while Hollywood imagined agents staring at goats and bending spoons, the reality was more subtle and far more effective. The CIA was not trying to create wizards. They were building brain athletes, or as we like to put it, men who optimize neural pathways. Now here is the part where it gets disturbingly useful. Everything the CIA explored in those dusty classified training manuals, modern science has confirmed it. And if you are still studying like it is the 1990s, highlighting textbooks, rereading notes, and hoping for divine intervention, your brain is working in hard mode. Welcome to Easy Mode Learning, powered by Real Psychology. First, there is spaced repetition, the act of reviewing material at carefully increasing intervals. It feels counterintuitive, but the more you forget and relearn, the stronger the memory trace becomes. Then comes interleaved learning, which means mixing up subjects rather than studying one thing in a block. Think of it like cross-training for your brain, confusing at first, but far more effective in the long run. Then there is the Zeigarnik effect, your brain's refusal to let go of unfinished business. Start something and walk away, your mind keeps chewing on it like a stuck pop song. And do not overlook state-dependent learning. Your mood, environment, even the smell in the room can anchor memories. That is why some operatives were trained in simulated mission environments, down to the exact lighting and sounds. To sum it up, trying to cram all night is like stuffing pizza into a blender and calling it meal prep. You might technically be learning, but your brain is choking on the chaos. The CIA's approach was methodical. They treated the brain like a machine with settings and then learned how to tweak them. Controlled repetition, emotional stakes, environmental cues. It was not magic. It was mental architecture. Here is the harsh truth. Your brain is running Windows 95, but you are trying to use it for Mac OS Sonoma-level tasks. In other words, you are working with outdated biological hardware in a high-speed, info-saturated world. Evolution did not design your brain for calculus, coding, or cramming for midterms. It built your mind to survive the jungle, not ace a statistics exam. That is why our natural instincts lean towards scanning for danger, reacting to movement, and prioritizing emotionally charged memories, like the time you almost got hit by a car, not the difference between mitosis and meiosis. The brain's default settings are optimized for threat detection and resource management, not abstract reasoning or multi-layered strategic thinking. So how did the CIA work around this outdated setup? Simple. They hijacked the brain's love of novelty and emotion. They introduced training scenarios that simulated tension, urgency, or surprise. Emotionally charged information, especially involving fear, conflict, or reward, activates the amygdala and helps stamp the memory deeper. It is why operatives remember simulations involving stress better than dry lectures. There is even scientific backup. Studies show that cortisol, the body's main stress hormone, plays a dual role. In low to moderate doses during controlled stress, cortisol actually boosts memory formation. But under chaotic or uncontrolled stress, it turns your brain into scrambled eggs. The CIA learned to weaponize just the right amount of tension to hardwire memory. They were not just teaching, they were programming. Now let us bring this from spy school to study hall. You do not need a CIA badge to start learning smarter. You just need to treat your brain like a machine that responds to triggers. Here are 4 mind hacks that borrow directly from intelligence training, and they work disturbingly well. First, learn right before sleep. Your brain processes and consolidates memories during deep sleep, especially right after exposure. Think of it like hitting save before powering down. Next, move while studying. Physical activity boosts dopamine and oxygen flow, making your brain more alert and receptive. Walking while reviewing flashcards or even pacing while reciting notes can level you up. Third, use self-generated questions. Spies were trained to rehearse interrogations, not just memorize data. When you quiz yourself, not passively review, you force your brain to retrieve, which strengthens the memory trace. Finally, activate what we call danger mode learning. Simulate tension. Set fake countdown timers. Bet money. Pretend your exam score will decide your survival. Sounds ridiculous? Good, because that tiny emotional jolt triggers focus, just like in CIA stress tests. Basically, you have to trick your brain into thinking a history quiz might kill you. It is not about fear. It is about focus. Get creative. Gamify your stress. And remember, the brain does not care if the danger is real or fake. It only cares if it feels real enough to pay attention. Here is where it gets unsettling. All those brain-hacking techniques developed in secret labs, they are not just used for learning, they are being used against you. Every time you scroll, tap, or swipe, you are stepping into a behavioral conditioning program so seamless, so addictive. It makes the CIA's experiments look like amateur hour. Social media platforms have reverse-engineered your attention using the same psychological principles once reserved for espionage. Take TikTok, for example. It uses variable reward systems, the same mechanics used in slot machines. You do not know what is coming next. A funny video, a shocking clip, or a life-changing tip. That unpredictability creates a feedback loop that anchors memory and triggers dopamine, making the experience addictive and memorable in all the wrong ways. And Instagram? Imagine if the CIA built a tool to monitor your desires, reinforce your insecurities, and train your behavior through microdoses of dopamine. Instagram is the CIA's wet dream, a hyper-addictive memory manipulation tool dressed in filters and dopamine. Every like, comment, and story is a calculated nudge toward shaping your attention, your habits, and even your identity. Here is the thing. Your brain is not broken. It is not lazy or unmotivated. It is just being outmaneuvered by systems that understand its weaknesses better than you do. They are not trying to teach you. They are trying to train you to react, consume, and repeat. But now you know their tricks. You know how memory really works, how emotion hacks learning, and how to flip the system back in your favor. So from here on out, you are not just another mind in the algorithm. You are learning on your own terms, fast, sharp, and dangerous. Like this video if your brain feels at least 12% more weaponized. Subscribe for more uncomfortable truths, awkward science, and deeply relatable mind hacks. Stay sharp, but stay weird.